I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities and Music, the best kept secret in music reviews. Today, we're going to review the new album from a band called Grizzly Bear. The album is titled Shields. This is the newest album from Grizzly Bear. We like Grizzly Bear. One of the first album reviews we ever did, like 2.5 years ago, Velocities and Music, was Grizzly Bear's Veckatimist or Veckatimist.
However you pronounce it.
Who knows? Who knows? And we really liked that album. It was like one of our favorites back in the day when we were just getting into that. Tom, what were some of the traits of Veckatimist or Veckatimist that you like?
I really like that, they take this folky sound with it, and they make it a little more explosive, a little more interesting. Plenty of kind of pop hooks, which actually that album was even very different than their first few efforts. As far as, their very early stuff was just very kind of morose, a lot softer, a lot more lo-fi.
Yeah, absolutely.
That album was like perfectly produced, Veckatimist, when they got to that one. And then Shields is an interesting kind of combination, I'd say, because they really stray from the pop hooks and that kind of attitude. I mean, like here, if you go back and listen to their song 2 Weeks, from Veckatimist, there is nothing like that on this album. None of that kind of sugary pop, kind of upbeat, fun sound. This is very, very much calmer, more experimental, which at first for me made it a little difficult to dive into. A lot of these songs didn't really stick with me, but at the same time, I couldn't really come up with any complaints. I couldn't come up with anything that I could point out and say, I wish they were doing this better. I wish they were doing this better. So it's one of those that just took time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like where on Veckatimist you had distinct moments where there was like sheer brilliance in the songwriting.
Yeah.
I feel like there's actually a lot more of those on Shields. I feel like you're seeing Grizzly Bear really experiment with their sound and try to like flex their songwriting muscles, really take things to the next level. I just felt like Grizzly Bear is working extra hard on this album to really impress you. Now, as you were saying though, because they're losing that pop element, it's harder to attach to it, would you say?
Definitely, I had that issue, yeah.
I felt like it took me a long time to warm up to this album. The more that I got into it though, I found that I liked it on each additional listen. One thing that always stood out to me about all of Grizzly Bear's music is the just high quality instrumentation.
Yeah.
The songwriting is top notch, and vocally, this guy has a great voice. It reminds me a lot of Paul McCartney, just with kind of a 2012 tinge to it. I think that all the elements kind of add up there. Moreover, I really feel like what they could have done more is where Veckatimist had these ups and downs, these really high highs and these really low lows, and they alternated the tracks to where there was just constant rolling of intensity. This album is more structured, and that's something that I really appreciated about Shields, is you'll have a track that's just really big, loud, and bombastic, more so than really you ever saw in Veckatimist, and then you'll have these tracks that are more atmospheric, and this added extra songwriting depth to it. This added atmosphere gave the songs more personality, in my opinion. If you're listening to just the instrumentation, you can really get behind it, but there's just this lack of emotion there.
Yeah.
Another thing I noticed about Shields, Tom, is that I felt like the weight of this album, the really high quality parts are in like the first 4 tracks.
Yeah.
Track 4, yet again, one of my favorite tracks of the year. I think that track just defines great songwriting, and I want to hear more and more of that track from Grizzly Bear. But by the time the album winds down, there's kind of a lull in the middle.
Are you talking tracks like 5, 6, and 7 there? The Hunt, A Simple Answer, and What's Wrong?
Yeah.
Those kind of. Yeah, and I found myself thinking that as well. And none of those ended up being my track picks. I still really like them, but for some reason they stuck with me even less than the other tracks did.
Right.
So you do have kind of a sag as you're going from the beginning of the album to the end, but it still ends on a strong note. And even the weaker points on this album, I'd argue, aren't really all that weak, relatively speaking. It's just that they're not quite as stellar as those other strong points. Also, I want to compliment them on track 3. What is it, Adelma?
Yeah.
Is that it? The way that it flows and works as a transition between tracks 2 and 4 is really great. I love to see artists anticipating that album structure, going for a complete album listen, and recognizing, I don't know how that song came to be, but it's like they recognized that they just needed something there. They needed something there to fill some time between tracks 2 and 4, and I think it worked perfectly.
Yeah, they did a good job anticipating that. Overall, I think this album does a really good job of just presenting itself as a grower.
Yeah.
I mean, the more I listen to it, the more I pick apart the songs, the more I like the songs. So just the fact that right now I like the front half more, typically that's not a good good sign for me. Typically, I like to see like the quality or my favorite part of the album be the back half. Gives me something to look forward to in the listen. So I do get a little disappointed after 4. It's just like I have nothing to look forward to here. Minus track 9, I really don't have any track picks after the first chunk of the album. But as I listen to this, I like it more and more, and that's something that really resonates with me in an album. Is when the more you listen to it, the more you pick it apart, the more it kind of unveils itself to you. It's like a flower blooming. Yeah. I love that. I think that Shields is all about that quality. And in addition to that, I think that this is all about mood and atmosphere and different this time of year. It's fall here in Iowa. We got leaves. It's all the leaves are turning. It's just
a great fall album.
Yeah, it's a great fall album. So and it's that sort of album, that atmosphere, that mood. I think that the music kind of comes out a little bit more. So maybe our attachment will grow to it a little bit more over time. But
definitely
just where we're at right now, 6+ listens in it. I think that I'm going to stick around 81.
I'm going to go 81.
Hey, 81 from Velocities in Music. That's a good score. That means you guys got to go out and check this album out. For those of you new to Velocities in Music, an 81 for us, it means that album is completely good. It gets our seal of approval. You should go out and check this album out. We're kind of a hard scale to come by, but we should really make some sort of documentation on our website.
Yeah, we'll add it to the website.
Of what our scale should be, or what it means to you guys. So.
And if you follow us on Facebook and Twitter, we'll also be sure to post that scale there when we get that updated on our website, so you can check it out.
That. Yes, that's where we talk with you guys, and you guys are such a part of Velocities in Music. Thanks for watching. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.